In a small town nestled between rolling hills and endless fields of golden wheat, life moved at its usual pace. People woke up early to catch the sunrise, children played in the streets until dusk, and farmers worked tirelessly under the warm sun. It was an ordinary place, untouched by the chaos that often plagued bigger cities. No one in this quiet corner of the world could have imagined that their peaceful existence would soon become the center of something far greater than anything they had ever known. Unbeknownst to humanity, Earth had long been watched from afar. By eyes not human, by beings whose civilizations spanned galaxies. These alien races were not just curious about Earth, they were afraid of it. For centuries, legends had circulated among their kind about a forgotten god, an ancient entity so powerful that even the most advanced species dared not utter its name. According to these myths, this god had once ruled over the cosmos with unimaginable strength, shaping stars and crushing planets with ease. But then, without warning, it vanished. Some said it died, others claimed it went into hiding. But all agreed on one thing: Earth held the key to its return. The aliens feared what might happen if the god awakened. They believed it could destroy entire star systems with a single thought, wiping out civilizations in the blink of an eye. So, for years, they monitored Earth closely, hoping against hope that the legend would remain just that, a story told, around campfires on distant moons. But as fate would have it, the impossible began to unfold. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Astronomers stationed at observatories around the globe noticed strange disturbances in space. At first, it seemed like random fluctuations, minor anomalies in gravitational fields or brief flickers in starlight. Scientists chalked it up to solar flares or cosmic debris passing through Earth's vicinity. But as days turned into weeks, the disturbances grew more frequent and intense. Satellites malfunctioned, communication systems faltered, and power grids sputtered unpredictably. Governments scrambled to find explanations, while conspiracy theories flooded social media platforms. Was it climate change? A secret military experiment gone wrong? Or perhaps something else entirely? Then came the night that changed everything. On a clear evening, when the sky was painted with hues of orange and purple, people across the planet looked up to witness an event unlike any other. High above Earth's atmosphere, a massive rift tore open the fabric of space itself. It shimmered like liquid silver, pulsating with energy that lit up the horizon brighter than the sun. From within this swirling vortex emerged shapes, gigantic, menacing silhouettes that blocked out constellations and cast eerie shadows over continents. These were not natural phenomena. These were ships. Star destroyers, each larger than a city, bristling with weapons capable of annihilating entire worlds. The sight sent shockwaves through every nation on Earth. Panic spread faster than wildfire as news outlets broadcast live footage of the colossal vessels hovering ominously above the planet. Crowds gathered in streets and parks, pointing upward in awe and terror. Social media exploded with posts ranging from prayers to desperate pleas for answers. What did these invaders want? Why were they here, and why now? Far away, aboard their own fleet stationed light years from Earth, the alien observers watched with bated breath. To them, the appearance of the star destroyers confirmed their worst fears. The forgotten god was stirring. Something, or someone, had triggered its awakening, and the consequences would be catastrophic. Yet strangely, there was no sign of divine intervention yet. Instead, it was humanity, the fragile, insignificant inhabitants of this tiny blue planet, who found themselves standing directly in the line of fire. Among those trying to make sense of the unfolding events was Dr. Elena Carter, a brilliant astrophysicist working at NASA's headquarters in Washington, D.C. Known for her sharp intellect and relentless curiosity, Elena had spent years studying celestial phenomena, searching for clues about the universe's origins. When reports of the rift reached her desk, she immediately recognized its significance. Unlike anything documented before, the anomaly defied conventional physics. It wasn't just a tear in space-time. It was a doorway, deliberately opened by forces unknown. Elena dove headfirst into analyzing data streaming in from telescopes and satellites. Every piece of information pointed to one chilling conclusion. The Star Destroyers weren't here to conquer Earth. They were here to awaken something buried deep within the planet, a force tied to the legends of the forgotten God. But how and why now? Her investigation led her to encrypted signals emanating from the alien ships. Using cutting-edge decryption software, she managed to translate fragments of the messages. What she discovered left her speechless. The transmissions were written in languages so ancient that they predated recorded history, languages associated with mythologies from cultures scattered across the globe. From Norse runes to Sanskrit verses, the patterns matched perfectly, weaving together a narrative that connected Earth to the cosmic deity. Realizing the gravity of her findings, Elena confided in her closest colleague and childhood friend, Commander Alex Hayes. A decorated military strategist with a knack for solving complex problems, Alex listened intently as Elena explained her theory. Together they pieced together a startling possibility. Earth wasn't just another planet, it was a prison, a tomb holding the remains, or perhaps the dormant essence, of the forgotten god. The Star Destroyer's arrival suggested that someone, somewhere, had figured out how to unlock this cosmic vault. As the days passed, Elena and Alex worked tirelessly, poring over ancient texts and cross-referencing them with modern scientific data. Their research revealed tantalizing hints about structures hidden beneath Earth's surface, structures aligned with constellations and encoded with symbols matching those found in the alien transmissions. Could these ruins hold the key to understanding why Earth mattered so much to beings far more advanced than humans? While they unraveled the mystery, the world outside descended further into chaos. Militaries mobilized, preparing for potential invasion. Religious leaders preached about the end times, urging followers to repent. Ordinary citizens huddled together, praying for salvation. Amidst the fear and uncertainty, one truth became undeniable. Humanity stood clueless, unaware that their world had become ground zero for intergalactic dread. Little did anyone know. Two individuals, a scientist driven by curiosity and a soldier fueled by duty, were about to step onto a path that would lead them straight into the heart of danger. For Elena and Alex, the journey ahead promised answers, sacrifices, and revelations beyond imagination. But first, they needed to convince the powers that be and themselves that Earth's survival depended on unraveling secrets buried deeper than anyone had ever dared to dig. The world was no longer the same. The appearance of the Star Destroyers had shattered the illusion of safety that humanity had clung to for centuries. What began as a quiet, unassuming evening turned into a global crisis overnight. People everywhere were glued to their screens, watching live broadcasts of the massive alien vessels hovering ominously above Earth's atmosphere. These ships weren't just floating aimlessly. They moved with purpose, scanning the planet like predators circling prey. Their sheer size made cities look like toys, and their weapons glowed faintly, ready to unleash destruction at any moment. Governments around the globe scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings were held in secret bunkers, where leaders debated how to handle the situation. Some argued for immediate military action, while others urged caution, fearing retaliation from beings far more advanced than humans. Meanwhile, civilians lived in a state of constant fear. Families stockpiled food and water, schools closed indefinitely, and streets emptied as people stayed indoors, glued to updates about the alien presence. Social media buzzed with theories, some plausible, others absurd. Were the aliens here? To harvest resources? To enslave humanity? Or was this an act of divine judgment? Amidst the chaos, Dr. Elena Carter and Commander Alex Hayes continued their investigation. They knew that understanding the invaders' motives was crucial if humanity stood any chance of survival. Armed with fragments of alien transmissions and ancient texts, they worked tirelessly at NASA's headquarters, piecing together clues that pointed to an extraordinary truth. The Star Destroyers weren't here for conquest or colonization. They were searching for something buried deep within Earth itself. Elena became obsessed with decoding the signals. Each day brought new breakthroughs, but also more questions. The language used by the aliens was unlike anything modern linguists had encountered. It combined elements from ancient cultures across the globe: Egyptian hieroglyphs, Mayan symbols, Norse runes, and even Sanskrit verses. This wasn't coincidence, it was deliberate. Whoever designed the messages wanted to communicate with Earth using a universal code tied to its history. But why? And what did it mean? One night, after hours of staring at her computer screen, Elena noticed something peculiar. Certain patterns in the transmissions matched coordinates on Earth's surface. Excited, she cross-referenced these locations with archaeological databases. To her astonishment, each coordinate corresponded to a site of immense historical significance. Places long shrouded in mystery and myth. The Great Pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, the Nazca Lines in Peru, and Angkor Wat in Cambodia, all connected by invisible threads woven into the fabric of time. "This isn't random," Elena said aloud, her voice trembling with excitement. She called Alex immediately, explaining her discovery. Together, they realized that these sites weren't just relics of human ingenuity. They were markers pointing toward something greater, something hidden beneath the Earth's crust. Their theory gained traction when they stumbled upon references to a forgotten god in both alien messages and ancient inscriptions. According to the texts, this deity had once ruled over the cosmos with unimaginable power, shaping galaxies and extinguishing stars at will. However, its reign ended abruptly, and it disappeared without explanation. Legends claimed it still existed, dormant and sealed away, waiting for the right moment to awaken. The aliens feared this awakening, believing it would spell doom for all life in the universe. And now, they believed Earth held the key to unleashing it. With this revelation, Elena and Alex knew they couldn't keep their findings secret. They needed help, not just from scientists and archaeologists, but from governments and militaries worldwide. Convincing skeptical officials proved challenging. Many dismissed their ideas as wild speculation, while others accused them of fear-mongering. But Elena refused to back down. Armed with evidence and unwavering determination, she presented her case before a panel of high-ranking officials at the United Nations. Her presentation was gripping. She displayed maps showing the alignment of ancient sites, played audio recordings of decrypted alien transmissions, and showed images of the star destroyers scanning specific regions of Earth. By the end, even the most hardened skeptics couldn't deny the gravity of the situation. Reluctantly, world leaders agreed to collaborate, pooling resources and intelligence to investigate further. Meanwhile, tensions between humanity and the alien fleet escalated. The invaders hadn't attacked yet, but their presence loomed large, casting a shadow of dread over every decision made by Earth's defenders. Military forces prepared for battle, though everyone knew conventional weapons wouldn't stand a chance against such overwhelming firepower. Still, humanity refused to surrender without a fight. Protests erupted in cities worldwide, demanding answers and action. People demanded transparency from their governments, shouting slogans like "Save our planet" and "We will not be conquered." As public pressure mounted, Elena and Alex embarked on a dangerous mission to explore the ancient ruins identified in their research. Their journey took them to some of the most remote corners of the globe, where they uncovered artifacts that defied explanation. In Egypt, they found carvings depicting starships eerily similar to the ones currently orbiting Earth. In Peru, they discovered underground chambers filled with intricate murals illustrating cosmic battles fought by gods wielding celestial weapons. Each site revealed pieces of a puzzle connecting Earth to the forgotten deity, and the aliens' desperate quest to awaken it. But their work didn't go unnoticed. Shadowy organizations, driven by greed and ambition, sought to exploit the situation for their own gain. One such group ambushed Elena during an excavation in Cambodia, kidnapping her and confiscating valuable data stored on her laptop. Alex received a ransom demand: hand over the decryption algorithms used to translate alien transmissions, or risk losing Elena forever. Faced with an impossible choice, Alex devised a daring plan. Using his military expertise, he assembled a small team of trusted operatives and launched a rescue mission. Under cover of darkness, they infiltrated the compound where Elena was being held captive. Gunfire echoed through the night as they fought their way inside, dodging traps and overpowering guards. When they finally reached Elena, she was battered, but alive, clutching a fragment of an artifact she had managed to salvage despite her ordeal. "You shouldn't have come," Elena whispered weakly as Alex helped her to her feet. "And leave you behind?" Alex replied with a grin. "Not a chance." Back at their makeshift base, Elena examined the artifact closely. It was a shard of obsidian etched with glowing runes that pulsed faintly, as if alive. Running tests confirmed her suspicions. The object contained traces of energy unlike anything recorded on Earth. This wasn't just a relic, it was a piece of the forgotten god itself. Somehow fragments of its essence had been scattered across the planet, embedded in objects revered by ancient civilizations. "This changes everything," Elena said, her eyes wide with realization. If they could gather enough of these artifacts, they might unlock the secrets of the god, and perhaps find a way to stop the aliens from awakening it. Word of their progress spread quickly, inspiring hope among those who had given up. For the first time since the Star Destroyers appeared, humanity saw a glimmer of light in the darkness. But time was running out. The aliens grew bolder, deploying probes to scan deeper into Earth's crust. Skirmishes broke out in space and on land as human forces attempted to slow their advance. Casualties mounted, but so did resolve. People from all walks of life came together, united by a common goal: protecting their home from a threat beyond comprehension. Elena and Alex knew the road ahead would be fraught with danger. Every step brought them closer to the truth, but also closer to the heart of the storm. Yet, as they stared at the glowing shard of obsidian, they felt a spark of determination ignite within them. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it head-on. Because if there was one thing humanity excelled at, it was fighting for survival, even against odds stacked impossibly high. And so, with courage in their hearts and purpose in their minds, Elena and Alex pressed forward, ready to uncover the secrets of a forgotten god and defend Earth against forces that sought to tear it apart. The journey to uncover Earth's deepest secrets became a race against time. With each passing day, the alien fleet grew bolder, their probes burrowing deeper into the planet's crust in search of something only they understood: humanity's defenses were stretched thin, and despite valiant efforts by military forces around the globe, skirmishes in space and on land left cities in ruins and countless lives lost. Amidst the chaos, Elena Carter and Alex Hayes pressed forward, driven by a single-minded determination to solve the mystery before it was too late. Their investigation led them to some of the most remote and dangerous corners of the world. From the scorching deserts of Egypt to the dense jungles of Peru, they followed the trail of ancient artifacts tied to the forgotten god. Each site revealed fragments of knowledge, shedding light on the deity's origins and the reason for its imprisonment. But with every discovery came new challenges: hostile environments, treacherous terrain, and enemies both human and extraterrestrial. In Egypt, Elena and Alex explored hidden chambers beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza. Using advanced scanning equipment, they uncovered hieroglyphs that depicted a cosmic entity wielding unimaginable power. The carvings showed scenes of destruction, entire star systems reduced to ash, civilizations wiped out in an instant. Yet alongside these images were symbols of hope: a celestial balance restored, planets reborn from the ashes of devastation. It seemed the forgotten god had once been a guardian, tasked with maintaining order in the universe. But somewhere along the way it had turned rogue, consumed by hubris and rage. As they deciphered the inscriptions, a chilling realization dawned on them. The god hadn't simply vanished. It had been sealed away deliberately by its creators, the very beings who now feared its return. According to the texts, this act of containment required immense sacrifice and technology far beyond anything humanity possessed. Yet here it was, buried deep within Earth, waiting to be awakened. Their next stop took them to the Nazca lines in Peru, where massive geoglyphs etched into the desert floor pointed toward underground tunnels. These passageways, long abandoned and forgotten, contained murals depicting the same cosmic battles seen in Egypt. But there was something new, a map carved into the stone walls, showing pathways leading to what appeared to be a central chamber, beneath the Andes Mountains. Elena traced her fingers over the intricate lines, her heart pounding with excitement. "This could be it," she whispered, "the final piece of the puzzle." But reaching the chamber wouldn't be easy. The tunnels were unstable, filled with traps designed to deter intruders. As they navigated the labyrinthine passages, they encountered evidence of recent activity, footprints, discarded tools, and strange markings left behind by the aliens. Clearly, they weren't the only ones searching for answers. Somewhere above, the invaders continued their relentless assault, determined to crack open Earth's core and unleash the slumbering deity. Back at their base camp, tensions ran high. News of mounting casualties weighed heavily on everyone's minds. Civilians caught in crossfire, soldiers sacrificing themselves to buy precious time. It all served as a grim reminder of what was at stake. Yet amidst the despair, moments of courage and unity inspired hope. Ordinary people stepped up, volunteering to help in any way they could. Farmers donated food supplies, engineers built makeshift shelters, and hackers worked tirelessly to disrupt alien communications. Humanity, though battered and bruised, refused to give up. Elena and Alex returned to the surface after days spent exploring the tunnels, exhausted but exhilarated. They had found another artifact, an ornate golden disc, engraved with swirling patterns that glowed faintly under moonlight. Testing revealed traces of the same otherworldly energy detected in the obsidian shard. When placed near each other, the objects resonated, emitting a low hum that sent shivers down their spines. It was clear. These relics were fragments of the forgotten god's essence, scattered across the globe to prevent its resurrection. With two pieces in hand, they turned their attention to locating the remaining fragments. Their research indicated that the final artifact lay beneath Angkor Wat in Cambodia, a temple complex steeped in myth and history. However, getting there would be perilous. Alien drones patrolled the skies, and shadowy organizations intent on exploiting the situation lurked in the shadows. One such group ambushed their convoy en route to Southeast Asia, forcing them to abandon their vehicles and flee into the jungle on foot. For hours, they trudged through dense foliage, evading capture while struggling to stay oriented. Just when exhaustion threatened to overwhelm them, they stumbled upon an unexpected ally, a local guide named Mei Ling, whose ancestors had guarded the secrets of Angkor Wat for generations. Mei Ling explained that legends spoke of a sleeping giant, buried beneath the temple, sealed away by divine intervention. Her people believed that disturbing the giant's resting place would bring about the end of the world. Despite her warnings, Elena convinced Mei Ling to lead them to the hidden chamber. Together they navigated narrow corridors lined with statues of gods and demons, each step taking them closer to the truth. At last, they reached the inner sanctum, a cavernous room illuminated by shafts of sunlight filtering through cracks in the ceiling. In the center stood a pedestal, atop which rested the final artifact, a crystalline orb pulsating with radiant light. As Elena approached the orb, visions flooded her mind, images of creation and destruction, life and death, order and chaos. She felt the presence of the forgotten god, not as a malevolent force but as a being torn between conflicting desires. Once revered as a protector, it had grown corrupted by power, losing sight of its purpose. Now, trapped and weakened, it yearned for freedom, unaware, or perhaps uncaring, that its release could spell doom for the universe. Alex watched anxiously as Elena carefully retrieved the orb, cradling it like a fragile treasure. "We have what we need," he said, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. "Let's get out of here." Their escape was anything but smooth. Alien forces descended upon the temple, deploying shock troops armed with plasma weapons. A fierce firefight erupted, forcing Elena, Alex, and Mei Ling to fight their way through wave after wave of attackers. Bullets ricocheted off stone walls, explosions rocked the ancient structure, and debris rained down from above. Through sheer grit and teamwork, they managed to reach the jungle where a helicopter awaited them thanks to quick thinking by Alex's military contacts. As they soared above the treetops, clutching the artifacts tightly, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were running out of time. The aliens' desperation suggested they were close to achieving their goal, cracking open Earth's core to awaken the god. Every second counted, and failure was not an option. Back at their secure facility, they assembled the artifacts, placing them in a circular pattern on a specially designed platform. As the objects aligned, a surge of energy coursed through the room, creating a holographic projection of the forgotten god. Its form shifted constantly, appearing as both beautiful and terrifying, a kaleidoscope of light and shadow embodying raw, untamed power. "This is it," Elena murmured, her voice filled with awe and dread. "If we can interface with it, maybe we can control its awakening or stop it altogether." But interfacing with the god wasn't going to be easy. The process required someone to physically enter Earth's molten depths, where the entity resided. No machine could withstand the extreme heat and pressure, meaning a human volunteer would have to make the ultimate sacrifice. Everyone in the room fell silent, the weight of the decision pressing down on them like a physical force. Alex broke the silence first. "I'll do it," he said firmly, meeting Elena's shocked gaze. "It has to be me." "No!" Elena protested, tears welling up in her eyes. "There has to be another way." "There isn't," Alex replied, his tone resolute. "You're the brains behind this operation, Elena. Without you, we don't stand a chance. I'm just the muscle. Let me do my part." Reluctantly, Elena agreed, knowing that arguing would waste precious time. Together, they prepared for the mission, outfitting Alex with experimental gear designed to shield him from the inferno below. As he suited up, he thought about everything he was leaving behind: the friends, the memories, the life he loved. But more than regret, he felt pride. Pride in humanity's resilience, in their ability to come together in the face of impossible odds. If his sacrifice could save billions, then it would be worth it. As Alex descended into the abyss, guided by sensors and telemetry readouts monitored by Elena and her team, humanity rallied above ground. Militaries launched decoy attacks to distract the alien fleet, buying Alex precious minutes. Civilians prayed, hoping against hope that their world wouldn't be torn apart. And Elena held her breath, clinging to the belief that somehow, some way, they would prevail. Deep within Earth's core, Alex faced the forgotten god, not as an enemy, but as a messenger bearing humanity's plea for survival. What happened next would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire universe. The descent into Earth's core was unlike anything Alex Hayes had ever experienced. Clad in experimental gear designed to withstand the unimaginable heat and pressure, he felt like a speck of dust swallowed by an endless void. The journey began aboard a specially modified subterranean vehicle, capable of drilling through solid rock at incredible speeds. As the machine burrowed deeper, temperatures soared, and the air grew heavier with each passing second. Outside, molten lava churned violently, glowing orange and red like liquid fire. Inside, Alex sat alone, his thoughts racing faster than the drill spinning beneath him. He knew the risks. No human had ventured this deep before, and there was no guarantee he would make it back alive. Yet as he stared at the flickering control panel in front of him, he couldn't help but feel a strange sense of calm. This wasn't just about survival. It was about legacy. If he succeeded, his name would be remembered not as a soldier or strategist, but as the man who saved humanity from annihilation. And if he failed, well, at least he'd die knowing he gave everything for the people he loved. Hours passed, though time seemed irrelevant in the suffocating darkness. The vehicle finally came to a halt after penetrating layers of rock so dense they defied logic. Peering through the reinforced viewport, Alex saw something that took his breath away. A cavernous expanse filled with shimmering light, pulsating like a heartbeat. It wasn't natural. It radiated an otherworldly energy, casting eerie shadows on the jagged walls around him. This was it, the resting place of the forgotten god. Stepping out of the vehicle required every ounce of courage Alex possessed. The moment his boots touched the ground, he felt a surge of power coursing through him, not painful but overwhelming, as if the entity inside the cavern was testing his resolve. He stumbled forward, clutching the device Elena and her team had built, a compact interface unit designed to connect directly with the god's essence. Without it, communication would be impossible. With it, there was still no guarantee of success. As Alex moved deeper into the chamber, visions began to manifest around him. They weren't hallucinations. They were fragments of the god's memories, projected into his mind like scenes from a movie. He saw galaxies forming and collapsing, stars being born only to explode in supernovas moments later. Civilizations rose and fell, their achievements reduced to ash by forces beyond comprehension. Through these images, Alex glimpsed the gods, creation, a cosmic guardian tasked with maintaining balance across the universe. But then, the tone shifted. Pride turned to arrogance, order to chaos. Entire planets were obliterated under its wrath, their inhabitants erased without mercy. Finally, betrayal. The creators who had once revered it now sought to imprison it, sealing it away beneath Earth's surface. Alex felt anger rising within him, not toward the god, but toward those who had abandoned it. Wasn't it their fault, too? Hadn't they created this monster only to abandon it when it became inconvenient? But anger wouldn't solve anything. Taking a deep breath, Alex focused on the task ahead. "I'm here to talk," he said aloud, his voice echoing eerily in the vast emptiness. "Not to fight." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the light intensified, coalescing into a shape, an amorphous figure that seemed both beautiful and terrifying. Its form shifted constantly, sometimes resembling a towering humanoid, other times dissolving into streams of pure energy. When it spoke, it didn't use words. Instead, emotions flooded Alex's mind: pride, sorrow, rage, longing, all raw and unfiltered. It wanted freedom, desperately. But more than that, it wanted revenge against those who had locked it away. "You don't understand what you're doing," Alex replied, his voice trembling despite his best efforts to remain composed. "If you break free, you'll destroy everything. Billions of lives, human, alien, innocent beings who've done nothing wrong, they'll all perish." The god hesitated, its presence wavering slightly. For the first time, Alex sensed doubt. Maybe it hadn't considered the consequences of its actions, or maybe it simply didn't care. Either way, he seized the opportunity. Pulling out the interface device, he activated it. A beam of light shot upward, connecting with the entity. Above, data streamed between them, allowing Alex to share fragments of humanity's history, their struggles, triumphs, hopes, and dreams. He showed it art, music, science, and love, things that made humans unique despite their flaws. At first, the god resisted, recoiling from the influx of information. But gradually, its demeanor softened. Images of war and destruction gave way to scenes of unity and resilience. Alex poured his heart into the connection, channeling every emotion he could muster: hope, determination, even fear. "We're not perfect," he admitted. "But we're trying. Give us a chance. Let us prove ourselves." Above ground, Elena watched anxiously as sensors tracked Alex's progress. Every spike in energy levels sent her heart racing. She had argued fiercely against letting him go, but deep down, she knew he was right. There was no one else for the job. Still, the thought of losing him gnawed at her relentlessly. "Come back, Alex," she whispered, gripping the edge of her desk until her knuckles turned white. "Please come back." Meanwhile, humanity fought valiantly to hold off the alien fleet. Decoy attacks launched by military forces drew enemy ships away from critical areas, buying Alex precious time. Fighter jets screamed across the sky, engaging in dogfights with alien drones. Ground troops clashed with robotic invaders, their weapons sparking against advanced shielding. Civilians joined the effort, sabotaging supply lines and spreading misinformation online. Despite overwhelming odds, humanity refused to yield. Their spirit burned brighter than ever, fueled by the belief that someone, somewhere, was fighting for them. Back in the cavern, Alex reached the climax of his mission. The interface device hummed louder, its circuits straining under the strain of maintaining the connection. Sweat dripped down his face as he fought to keep his focus. The god's essence pulsed wildly, torn between conflicting desires. Freedom called to it, promising vengeance and power. But Alex's message lingered, planting seeds of doubt. Could it trust itself to wield such strength responsibly? Or would it repeat the mistakes of the past? Summoning every ounce of willpower, Alex made his final move. He activated the device's core function, a fail-safe mechanism designed to seal the god permanently within Earth's mantle. Energy surged through the cavern, blinding and deafening. The entity roared, thrashing violently as the bonds tightened around it. For a brief moment, Alex feared it might break free, obliterating him, and possibly the entire planet, in the process. But then, with a deafening crack, the light dimmed, and silence fell. When Alex opened his eyes, the cavern was empty. The god was gone, sealed away once more. Exhausted but victorious, he collapsed onto the rocky floor, tears streaming down his face. Against all odds, he had succeeded. Above ground, the effects were immediate. Alien ships detected the surge in energy and fled, retreating into the void without explanation. Power grids stabilized, satellites resumed functioning, and communications were restored. People emerged from their homes, blinking in disbelief as the crisis ended almost as abruptly as it began. News outlets broadcast reports of humanity's victory, crediting brave soldiers, scientists, and ordinary citizens alike. Elena received confirmation of Alex's survival via telemetry readouts. Relief washed over her like a tidal wave, followed quickly by joy. "You did it," she murmured, smiling through tears. "You actually did it." Though battered and bruised, Alex returned to the surface a hero. His sacrifice had saved billions, proving that even in the face of insurmountable odds, humanity could rise to the challenge. But more importantly, his actions reminded everyone of a simple truth. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. And sometimes, that's enough to change the course of history. The world breathed a collective sigh of relief as the alien fleet vanished into the depths of space, leaving Earth battered but intact. The star destroyers that had once loomed ominously above the planet were now distant memories, fading like shadows in the morning light. Yet, for those who had witnessed the events firsthand, the scars ran deep, both physical and emotional. Cities lay in ruins, families mourned their lost loved ones, and survivors struggled to rebuild lives shattered by fear and chaos. But amidst the devastation, there was hope, a fragile, flickering flame ignited by the courage of one man. Alex Hayes emerged from the abyss beneath Earth's surface, changed forever. Physically, he was unharmed thanks to the experimental gear designed to protect him from the inferno below. Mentally, however, he bore the weight of what he had seen and done. The visions of the forgotten god, the cosmic battles, the civilizations. Reduced to ash, the raw power coursing through its essence haunted his dreams. He had stared into the face of divinity and lived to tell the tale, but the experience left an indelible mark on his soul. When he returned to the surface, Elena Carter rushed to greet him, tears streaming down her face. For days, she had feared the worst, imagining countless scenarios where Alex never came back. Now, seeing him standing before her, alive and whole, felt surreal. She hugged him tightly, afraid to let go, as if holding on to him would anchor him to the present. "You did it," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "You saved us all." But Alex didn't feel like a hero. Instead, he felt humbled, almost overwhelmed by the enormity of what had transpired. It wasn't just me, he said softly, pulling away to look at her. It was everyone. Your research, the soldiers fighting on the front lines, the civilians refusing to give up. We did this together. Elena nodded, though she couldn't deny the pivotal role Alex had played. Without his bravery, humanity might have faced annihilation. His willingness to step forward, knowing full well the risks involved, had been the turning point. And yet, despite everything, Alex remained humble, deflecting praise and focusing instead on the road ahead. In the weeks that followed, news of Alex's heroism spread across the globe. Media outlets hailed him as the man who saved Earth, recounting his descent into the planet's core and his confrontation with the forgotten god. Documentaries aired, interviews were conducted, and monuments were proposed in his honor. Yet Alex avoided the spotlight as much as possible. He didn't seek recognition or glory. He simply wanted to heal and move forward. For Elena, the aftermath brought a mix of pride and grief. She was proud of what they had accomplished together, but losing Alex, even temporarily, had reminded her how fragile life truly was. Their bond had deepened over the course of their mission, forged in the fires of adversity. They weren't just colleagues anymore. They were something more, though neither dared put a name to it. For now, they focused on recovery, working side by side to document their findings and share them with the scientific community. Their discoveries reshaped humanity's understanding of the universe. The artifacts they had uncovered revealed connections between ancient civilizations and extraterrestrial beings, suggesting that Earth's history was far richer and stranger than anyone had imagined. Scholars pored over the data, reinterpreting myths and legends in light of new evidence. Governments collaborated, pooling resources to ensure such a crisis wouldn't happen again. Humanity had learned a valuable lesson. Unity was strength, and cooperation could overcome even the most daunting challenges. Yet not everyone celebrated the victory. Shadowy organizations that had sought to exploit the situation for personal gain were exposed, their leaders arrested, and tried for crimes against humanity. Public outrage fueled calls for transparency, leading to reforms aimed at preventing future abuses of power. Trust in institutions slowly began to rebuild, bolstered by grassroots movements demanding accountability and justice. As the months passed, Earth started to heal. Ruined cities were reconstructed, blending modern architecture with sustainable designs inspired by lessons learned during the crisis. Schools reopened, parks flourished, and festivals returned, bringing communities closer together. People found solace in small joys, a child's laughter, a warm meal, a sunset shared with loved ones. Life moved on, carrying with it the memory of what had been endured and overcome. For Alex, returning to normalcy proved difficult. Nightmares plagued him, replaying moments from his encounter with the forgotten god. He saw galaxies collapsing, heard the cries of civilizations erased in an instant. Sometimes he woke up drenched in sweat, clutching his chest as if trying to hold himself together. Elena noticed the toll it took on him and encouraged him to seek help. Reluctantly, he agreed, attending therapy sessions where he processed his trauma and found ways to cope. Despite the challenges, Alex remained steadfast in his belief that humanity's best days lay ahead. He traveled the world, speaking at conferences and meeting with leaders to advocate for global cooperation. His message was simple yet profound. We are stronger together. Wherever he went, people listened, not because he was a celebrity, but because his words carried the weight of truth. He spoke from experience, having seen firsthand what humans could achieve when united by a common purpose. One evening, as Alex stood on a hill overlooking a rebuilt city, Elena joined him, handing him a cup of coffee. They sipped in silence, watching the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. "Do you ever wonder what's out there?" Elena asked after a while, gesturing toward the stars. "All the time," Alex replied, smiling faintly. "But I also think about what we've got here. This planet, these people, we're worth fighting for." Elena nodded, leaning her head against his shoulder. "You gave us a second chance, Alex, don't forget that." "I didn't do it alone," he reminded her gently. And besides, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving, about making sure we don't waste the opportunity we've been given. As the first stars appeared in the night sky, twinkling faintly against the dark expanse, Alex felt a sense of peace wash over him. The forgotten god was gone, for now, but its legacy lingered, a reminder of humanity's resilience and capacity for growth. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but Alex knew one thing for certain. No matter what challenges arose, humanity would face them head-on, armed with courage, determination, and the unwavering belief that together, they could conquer anything. The end, Alex Hayes' sacrifice became more than just an act of bravery. It became a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of selflessness, unity, and the indomitable human spirit. And though his name would be remembered for generations to come, Alex himself preferred to focus on the future rather than the past. After all, the story of humanity was still being written, and every chapter offered a chance to create something extraordinary.